Welcome to Between Over and Next with your hosts, Holli and Robert, a happily married couple who explore the space between what was, what is, and what's to come. From career changes to navigating life's uncertainties, this dynamic duo will empower you to live your happiest life at every age and stage. So, get ready because your journey with Holli and Robert starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Between Over and Next. Hi, Holli.
Hi, Robert. Albert Camus, French philosopher and author, said, "Life is the sum of all your choices." Decisions, decisions, decisions. Should I skip playing pickleball in the morning so I can sleep a little later? Should I wear the red top or the black top? Should I have a cone or a cup? Should I turn left or right? Should I have the chai at Starbucks or my shake at home? Should I go to the beach or the pool? Should I play mahjong or focus on writing a blog article? Tacos, sushi, pasta, salad, sandwich, read a book, watch TV, listen to a podcast. What should I do?
A lot of choices there.
Statistics. I love looking things up. On average, a person makes about 35,000 decisions every day, which equates to over 12 million decisions a year. Everything we do involves making choices.
Who am I to argue with Albert?
Unconsciously, consciously, sometimes with a little effort or thinking, or sometimes we agonize for hours over making decisions. With this podcast, Between Over and Next, there's lots of decision making. The who, what, where, when, why, how. Every single episode, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
The who, is it just going to be us?
Right.
As your hosts, or are we going to invite a featured guest? When are we going to record the podcast? Where are we going to record the podcast? Are our guests going to be in person or online? And what are we going to talk about? How do we select the topic? Today's is focused on choices and decision making.
Yeah.
And then why we're recording this podcast, Robert? Why are we recording Between Over and Next?
Well, because we enjoy podcasting, and we had been away from having our own podcast for quite a while since we stopped producing episodes for Wedding Podcast Network. And it's all in timing and readiness. And the universe spoke to us and made the space for us to be able to produce a podcast the way we believe a podcast should be produced. And here we are. We trusted the universe to direct us, and that's exactly what happened. And that's really why we decided to do it, because we could have, not for lack of knowing how to do it or equipment or anything like that, we could have started recording a podcast at any given moment. But we chose not to. When we decided to launch Between Over and Next, we were presented with an idea and a concept because of a film documentary that we watched, and everything clicked, and that light bulb went off, and we knew what we had to do. Here we are, 30 episodes in, basically, and on a good trajectory, knowing that there's a lot that goes into producing a weekly show with substance, and things have been going great.
Well, I would like to enlighten our listeners and viewers that this is actually take 2 of this episode. I want to be transparent with our audiences. And after we recorded it the first go-around about decision-making, I felt there was information that wasn't part of that episode, that it wasn't as full and, robust. I've talked about this prior about plan, do, review, assess, repeat, and those are all decisions. Plan, do, review, assess, repeat with every episode. And we do strive for excellence, and we do have our own personal experiences to share with you. It didn't sit well with me. So as we were sitting at the pool yesterday and kind of reflecting on that episode, I discussed this with Robert. We made a decision together to re-record the episode. And you know what? You wouldn't have probably known any differently, but we did. And that matters. It's worth the time to revisit. So
I went to the mall and I bought another cassette tape so we could record another show.
What I'm really grateful for is not only you being my partner in every way, but you really are the technical guru when it comes to packaging this podcast. We are an amazing team together, being able to talk about a variety of different topics that impact people personally and professionally. Choice is an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. And all of our decisions accumulate to shape our lives. So when we were talking yesterday, originally we were just talking about small decisions or big decisions and keeping them separate. And then as Robert and I continued to talk about this post the first recording, Robert, you said to me, they're everyday decisions and they are really subjective.
Yeah. Because first we were talking about difficult and easy. And that wasn't really a fair barometer because what may be an easy decision for me may not be an easy decision for you. So I think breaking it down, there are frequent or daily decisions that we make, and then there are less frequent decisions that we make that probably carry a bit more impact in our lives than our daily decisions, right? So our daily decisions are what to have to lunch, which way should I drive, should I pick up the dry cleaning before I go to work or after on the way home, as opposed to let's decide where we want to go on vacation this summer, or planning a trip of some kind, or booking hotel rooms, or things like that you may do less frequently that may not be as comfortable for you.
Well, not only that, it's also time and money. There's other factors that come into that decision making.
Right. Am I going to renew my cellular phone contract, or am I going to go to a new company and get a new phone and a carrying case for it? But now I'm committed for the next 3 years to this company. So that has far more impact than, is it going to be Jersey Mike's or Panera? Well, we had Jersey Mike's today. Okay, let's go to Panera tomorrow. You know,
well, it's interesting when you talk about the travel part. Like we were trying to plan a getaway with the family to go to the Finger Lakes for Alex's birthday. And you really do need more lead time to really find the best possible lodging. We started a little later and there was slim pickings. So you know what? We're going to postpone the trip when we have more options.
Right.
That was an okay decision. And then we'll have a plan B.
Well, it was an okay decision because of our family and
Desires.
birthday boy being accommodating and not making it a big deal that we go ahead and celebrate his birthday on the weekend of his birthday.
Well, I would have liked to do that.
Making the decision to wait a couple of weeks so that we have a better selection of rental houses than we would have had on Labor Day weekend, right? When everybody wants the vacation home.
What's interesting is with decision making, some decisions we make on our own. Some decisions you make it with others, like planning a family getaway.
Some are made for you.
And that's what I was going to say. Some are made for you. For instance, I think about when we came home from our honeymoon, our partnership really began professionally. And we made that decision together.
Well, yes, in a way, it was made for us because, again, the universe made the space for something to happen. The timing was that literally we walked into the office for the first time after getting home from our honeymoon is when all of that took place. Had that timing been a year down the line, let's say, maybe you would have been doing something else. What would have happened if material information didn't close down? And your decision to stay with Marcy, and then suddenly that grows and you're committed to that, and now you're involved in a business that requires a lot of travel. And you're spending a couple of weeks every month away from home. And now suddenly I go get myself a girlfriend. And I start another family in parallel to you. Look at how that would have happened. I would have had to been doing 2 podcasts. One with you, one with her. It's just amazing that just sometimes
to
things
a comedian.
work out.
God, he really does make me laugh and smile, even with his ridiculousness. So,
No, but everything has a...
I believe everything happens for a reason, but the thing is we're talking about decisions. And there are so many that we make as parents of young adults and as sexagenarian children of parents who are in their 80s, right? I think it's interesting to gauge how much you want to or don't want to honor your parents' advice, opinions, and guidance. Because I've always valued my parents' input when I ask for it. And I hope our children appreciate what we share with them for them to realize that we've been there, done that, and this would be our suggestion.
Yes, but you said a couple of things there. I don't remember getting a lot of advice from my parents. I don't remember those pearls of wisdom. I don't. And I think for me, I elicit my opinion and I give my advice unsolicited to my children all the time.
But
I don't care.
I think that's also based on...
I don't wait to be asked, Dad, what do you think? I tell my children what I think as soon as I learn the information I need to learn.
It's a responsibility, I think, of parents.
I hear it over and over again, and it was just yesterday because it brought back 2 things to me that we just said. It was something to have to do with pizza. You start thinking about something and suddenly it appears in your social media feed. Lately, I've been seeing like a lot of pizza stuff. So there was just a video I watched of a guy making pizza for 30 years, and the camera pans over and his son is there making pizzas alongside of him and all of that. And they were going back and forth and busting each other's balls. And the son says that if he wasn't on me like that, it would mean he doesn't care. Like, it's because he's on my ass and telling me to do things and how to do it and all of that, it means he cares about me. If he didn't do those things, if you didn't get that kind of attention, that kind of oversight, if you have the kind of parents who just didn't care, who were always off on vacations and left you alone and all of that, and they might have looked at it as giving you your freedom at a young age, and I had a lot of friends like that. We would end up at their house because their parents were always away on vacation, and we'd be hanging out unsupervised and all of that. Time and time again, I think studies show that parents that are there and
involved,
a little bit up their ass and
involved,
wanting to know what they much prefer that than a parent who was just not around to care about what decisions they may or may not have been making.
At all ages. So I'm going to link to episode 4 with our kids because I think a lot of the decisions they've made along the way, they have taken our advice into consideration.
See a little proof from time to time that they were listening.
I'm going to talk about some of the key things that we make decisions about. And I know whether it's been in our own lives as we're still growing up and how we have parents have been part of their journey. So even starting at the very beginning of education, I went to BU School of Management and I transferred to FIT. Well, that was a really big decision, Robert. First of all, deciding even to go away, what college you choose in the first place, and also helping our children pair their skills and talents and their dreams with the right experience. The choice may be not to go to college. You might be an entrepreneurial mindset and say, you know what, I just want to start a business, or I'm just not ready for college yet.
But we were also careful to guide our children into deciding to choose a school that was relatively nearby. Lindsay, of course, was much closer. She was 25 minutes away. But Alex was 2 hours away, 2.5 with traffic. Connecticut. And we really tried our best because Alex would have liked to go to the moon to go to college as far away as possible. And not realizing that he comes from a family that he likes to be around, and that if he decides to go to college in California, the times that we'd be able to see him or visit with him or he'd be able to come home, whatever, would be much fewer. So maybe we should rethink that. Now, I know a lot of parents encourage their children, go to a great school far away, I'll get on a plane, Great. We're lucky, I believe, to live in an area that within 2 to 4 hour radius of where we are, right, driving distance, some of the finest schools in the world exist. And listen, I'm not going to say that that wasn't a selfish act, okay? Yeah, I want to be able to jump in a car and drive to go see them on a weekend or whatever instead of having to go through okay, we got to book flights and now we got to book a hotel and take off from work and go, whatever it is, right? Much more complicated when you have to travel to go see your kids in college. We have a responsibility, I think, as parents to assist our children in trying to make the best decisions based on what we have experienced and what we know in life.
Picking a college is a big decision. If you don't make the right decision, it's okay because you have options and you can transfer. It's not the end of the world. And the other thing that I think is important is to continue to be a lifelong learner and continuing education.
Learning today is a much easier process because we have information at our fingertips. So you would hope that more information would help us make better, more informed decisions.
Career is a really big decision. Okay.
Well, especially as a high school into college age / graduate.
Well, that's your first entree into thinking, what do I want to be? That's an ongoing journey, Robert.
Listen, in my opinion, it's not going to change the way universities are set up. But I think that sometimes being in a very specific major can sometimes work against you.
It could pigeonhole you.
Because at 20, do you really know what you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, you're excited about certain things, but maybe once reality hits and you realize there's no jobs in this field, what do I do now? It's very difficult, I think, as a younger person and even as a young adult in your 20s to know what you really want. And I think a well-rounded education, giving you exposure to lots of things, I think for people who are undecided of what they really want is a much better choice because it doesn't matter. When you get hired for a job, they're going to train you how to do the job. I mean, your skill set is your skill set. You need to know how to use a computer and look things up and write well and speak well. But whatever job you're going to get, they're going to train you to do. And then you're going to see, do I love it? Or do I have to decide to now, pivot again and find something because you should never, ever settle, right? Just because you've made a decision to do something. Very few decisions are permanent decisions. Very few.
Career can mean lots of different things because there are some people that say, you know what? I want to travel for my job. I want to make a lot of money. All of those things are choices.
You can pretty much do anything you want to do. You should never give up your quest to find what it is that you love. Probably 8-9 years ago, we first saw the statistic of The average 35-year-old will have had 12 jobs. Some people say, wow, that's a lot. But if you think about it, if you haven't landed where you love, then I think you have to continue the quest. Again, very few decisions are permanent.
Relationships are very important decisions. Who you want to date, who you ultimately marry. Do you want to stay married, or do you possibly want to consider divorce?
I think a lot of that comes down to making the wrong decision to begin with.
Sometimes.
I think
People grow apart too.
people do grow apart.
And some people don't grow together. We have the same goals, ideals, values, even though our personality types are so different, which, by the way, I think taking the Myers-Briggs type indicator assessment really gives you a little insight
It should be your third date.
in what? The
You
MBTI?
should take the MBTI on your third date.
It's really important to remember that personality types and decision-making styles
Well, I wonder.
are equally valuable. Not one type can be characterized as the best decision maker. Type is all about what you prefer.
I would love to know how many single people who have online dating profiles have revealed their MBTI.
I think they should. I think that should be a prerequisite.
I guess people who know what that means would know what that means, and others would be like,
And then,
the heck is
wanting
that?
to learn more. So definitely check out that episode. It'll be in the show notes regarding the MBTI.
We should have asked Michael if they had that statistic, if they had done any research to see if their
You mean
if
with
the
online
MBTI
dating?
shows up within dating profile.
We will come back to that and answer that in a future episode. Whether you're entering into a new relationship or have a sustainable, long, loving marriage like Robert and I have, 33 years all in a row, that is also a decision.
If you're listening and watching in 2024.
Then once you decide to have a significant other, lifelong partner, you make lots of other decisions. Do you want to have children? How many kids do you want?
These are not your everyday decisions.
They'll impact your future.
Right.
They're big to me.
Impactful, long-lasting.
And another big thing is where you live. What city, what country, even think of our journey. We started in Brooklyn because that's where our parents brought us up. And then you moved to Staten Island and I moved to Long Island. Then I moved to the city and you moved to Bayonne. And then we met. And here we are in New Jersey. I never thought I'd be a bridge and tunnel girl, by the way. Here I am. I'm in New Jersey for a long time. Since we're together, 33 years.
Yes.
And I love it. So where you live or investing in buying a house are big decisions. But then you think about all those places I just said, we had to move. And let me tell you, moving is a whole other host of decision-making because you say, okay, after 30 years of living in a house, what am I going to keep? What am I going to throw away? What am I going to donate?
Right.
Do you remember that?
And yes.
Now, Lolo,
But-
you say this almost every day. I'm so happy we kept Lolo. I'm so happy we kept Lolo. Now, it's a beautiful, antique, life-sized clown that is so fabulous that it was my parents, and then they gifted it to me.
This is like a one-of-a-kind
Oh,
of thing.
it's I
Thought
was
about
like-
selling it, getting rid of it, and there were a few things that Holly decided was going.
Including
and then
his coffee table
I
down
decided
here.
was staying.
Right.
And I was able to negotiate. I put my reason in for all of that.
You did. And actually, you negotiated our Samsung frame TVs. You know
Yeah,
what? We
but
had a lot of negotiating.
Because I knew these were important decisions.
But then even setting up this studio, those decisions, and then the decorating of the house. What should the paint color be? And what should the flooring be? And what should the mirrors and the light fixtures be? That is a lot to take care of. That was a singular project.
You should see me buy peaches.
The other big thing is money. Some people have financial advisors. Some people do their own investing. Some people are very intentional with their savings and how you spend your money.
Right.
I always say the greatest wealth is health choices. When you want to make significant life changes, let's say you're a smoker or you have weight you need to lose because it is impacting your overall well-being? Do you go to the doctor? Do you go for your annual mammogram? Do you check your cardio health? Do you go for an annual physical? We encourage it. We do. We walk the walk.
Yes, yes.
Your creative pursuits. We all pick and choose what we do. I love pickleball and mahjong and playing games. We talked about that in a recent episode, all about small treats, elevating daily joy. And something we also really want to encourage you is to think about how you want to be remembered. And those are decisions you need to make and ask yourself. So leaving a legacy in sickness and in health. When I think of your work at Through My Eyes, that was important decision-making for the person who did the video as well as their family sometimes. Tell everyone a little bit about that.
Yeah, recording end-of-life biography videos, very impactful, long-lasting legacies of people. Just a very rewarding time in my career to be able to do that.
That's a decision to record with your parent or grandparent and learn the stories of their lives. We will have a link to our How to Leave a Legacy guide. On Between Over and Next, we like to talk about the pivotal moments. And I believe the space between over and next, all the decisions we make along the way, very often we have to learn how to handle the doubt, the fear, and the what ifs. The 3 C's in life are choices, as we've been talking about. And then the other 2 C's are chance and change. The definition of chance is the possibility of something happening. To me, that's all about taking risks and seizing opportunities that could lead to life-changing outcomes. We all need to measure risks, become more confident, and make informed choices. You got to make a choice, take a chance to change. And change, the definition, is to make someone or something different, to alter or modify. Change is inevitable in life and in work. Resisting change can hinder growth and happiness. Our recommendation is to stay open-minded, to adapt, to seek opportunities within the challenges, always maintain a positive outlook, recognize that doubt is a natural part of the decision-making process. It is so important to focus on your why, not just your what, to avoid the trap of societal expectations and pressures, to not let others dictate your path, and to evaluate your work-life balance.
I think that's the one missing thing in most people's lives.
Don't have regrets. Something I always say, whether I'm at point of purchase in a store or about sending a text or an email before I push send, is when in doubt, do without. Pause. Think. Ultimately, it's so important to do what makes you happy, what matters most to you, to fit your needs and that situation. So, final thoughts. Every decision comes with uncertainties. The danger of inaction can lead to missed opportunities. Different choices can lead to an entirely different journey. And sometimes you have to make the wrong choice to know the right one.
I agree 100% with everything you just said.
Some strategies to reduce overwhelm in decision-making are to prioritize your decisions, focus on what's most important, short-term and long-term. Simplify your choices. Limit the options to reduce decision fatigue. Set deadlines. Avoid overthinking by setting a time frame. Establish daily habits to minimize trivial decisions. Trust your gut and past decision-making successes. Be proactive in making choices rather than letting fear dictate them. Seek support and perspective from your partner, trusted friends, mentors, colleagues, and live a fulfilling life through intentional decision-making.
We hope that your decision-making process will be a little bit easier listening to our advice about decision-making, because we're expert decision makers. We always make the right decision.
No, we don't.
We all make lots of wrong decisions. I think that's okay, as long as you learn from your mistakes. That really is the most important thing. If you're making decisions and it's the wrong decision over and over and over again, then try something else. Then maybe you'll be making better decisions. But I think learning from past decisions is the best advice that I can share, because we make so many decisions each and every day. We're bound to make some better than others, but learning from them is the most important thing. Do you agree?
Of course I agree.
Of course. I told her she has to say that. So thank you all for tuning in to Between Over and Next. We certainly appreciate you being here. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure that you share them with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Between Over and Next. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it meaningful and insightful.
If you value it to be worthwhile, please share it with your friends and family.
We would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to write a review for us. Your feedback will help us continue to create content that resonates with you.
And don't forget, in the show notes, you can find all the relevant links mentioned in this episode, from accessing free downloads to visiting our website and more.
If you have any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. Simply send us an email. Our email address is hello@hollyandrobert.com. We're always excited to connect with our listeners.
So until next time, thank you again for joining us on Between Over and Next.
Thank you for listening to Between Over and Next, the podcast that navigates the twists and turns of life with courage, laughter, and a whole lot of inspiration. Tune in every Tuesday to hang out with Holli and Robert on your favorite podcast platform. Visit hollyandrobert.com and follow them on social media to ignite your passion and fuel your dreams.